US President Donald Trump has announced fresh tariffs on more than 90 countries, triggering volatility on markets worldwide. The 15% baseline tariff on EU goods to the US is not now expected to come into effect until August 7th. Efforts to cut carve-out or sectoral deals are continuing. Commenting on the impact of the 15% tariff, the Taoiseach said that the Irish economy would continue to grow, but jobs would be created at a slower rate.
It was all smiles at the opening of the New York Stock Exchange today, but the mood turned downbeat amid volatility on Wall Street. Markets across Europe and in Asia closed down, driven by the US president's latest tariffs. It followed Donald Trump's decision to slap steep levies on dozens of trading partners. Canada was hit with 35%, India 25% and Switzerland 39%. The European Trade Commissioner Maros Sefcovic took to social media to highlight the 15% secured for the 27-member bloc. As efforts continue at EU level to cut deals on sectoral carve-outs, the trade forum gathered at government buildings where members, including business and farming groups, said clarity on the deal is needed.
You can't book a container to the United States carrying wine or spirits in that environment. Your buyers don't know what the landed price is going to be. So in an environment like that, people don't take risk and they simply don't sell.
As part of today's meeting, officials from the Department of Finance gave the Trade Forum an update on a preliminary analysis of the impact of the 15% tariff on the Irish economy.
The initial expectation is still that the economy will grow and that new jobs will be created, albeit both at a lower rate. In fairness to everybody involved, there's a number of variables that just aren't known yet. Concerns
were expressed about the potential of two tariff rates on the island.
We operate very effectively on an all-island basis, and while the difference between 15 and 10% mightn't sound that much, it could bring a huge additional administrative burden into play.
The Taoiseach said it's the government's understanding that the EU's 15% rate includes previous tariffs, while the UK's 10% levy is not inclusive. Fergal O'Brien, RTE News at Government Buildings.
Let's have a quick word now with our Economics and Public Affairs editor, David Murphy. So, David, more uncertainty, the opposite of what businesses crave, as Neil McDonnell outlined there. Add to that the weakened dollar against the euro. These are really, really tricky trading conditions, are they not?
Yeah, so the dollar is now down 15% against the euro since Donald Trump has come into office. That makes exports from Ireland more expensive at a time where there are now many exports going to face tariffs of 15% from the end of next week. But there's a lot of unanswered questions. Firstly, it's not clear what's going to happen with alcohol sales. That was supposed to be part of a 0-for-0 tariff arrangement. That's not yet agreed. That's a big issue for the Irish whisky industry. Secondly, in relation to pharmaceuticals, it's not yet clear when tariffs on pharmaceuticals will be introduced or at exactly what rate, although it will be capped at 15%. And then the third thing is this issue of having a 10% tariff in Northern Ireland and a 15% tariff in the Republic. That has to be worked out. But overall, it has to be said, if you look at all the tariffs, the one for the EU is relatively modest compared to a lot of what the other countries are facing.
All right, David, thank you.